All right, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to another day. So today we are going to be, um, looking into the potential opportunity for the day. So we're most likely going to be very fast today. So let's go. Let's go. Let's have it. All right. So this is the London session for this new week, and what we're going to be doing today now is we are actually going to be looking at what happened last week, where NASDAQ currently is, and where NASDAQ is potentially going to next. And that's going to then give us the opportunity to see, okay, where are we going to be trading from? Which zones are we going to be respecting, and which zone is most likely not going to be respected? So let's get to it. All right, so first thing first is let's take a look at the trade that we actually had on Friday. So the trade that we had running last Friday, the trade actually hit a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So this is the trade here, and we called the trade on the Friday, and the trade did well. So that was a good one, and that was the only trade that we actually take on the live trading analysis all of last week, and that's really good to see the performance actually. So what we're gonna do now is, as usual, we are going to remove some of the markings, and then we're going to restart the marking. So remove this, I remove this as well. Okay, so let me go to 4-hour, for example, and then some 4-hour now. It's going to remove some of these markings that I have there. All right, so now that we are now on 4-hour time frame, we want to see what is actually happening in the market, like what is NASDAQ doing currently. Okay, let me just drag this here, and let's make it like this. Okay, so what is NASDAQ doing at the moment? All right, and one thing you're going to notice right now is that we have NASDAQ trading within a 4-hour range, right, which we can call a swing high and a swing low, right? And what happened is NASDAQ has come from that extreme high to the extreme low. And what I mean by that is that if you look to the left, where my arrow is coming from now, NASDAQ was moving from here, reached this level, and then from here, NASDAQ went up, came down here, went all the way up to the extreme, or let's call it supply, and came back all the way here into the demand level, and now it is here, right? So this kind of formation can be explained like, okay, so at a particular point, NASDAQ was trending downward over here, and then it pulled back, then created another, let's call it a higher low, went out, created a higher high, but it's not higher than the range itself. Then it came back all the way, creating a lower, a lower low than the internal, and this is the internal lows now. We're talking about the internal ranges now. It creates an internal low that's actually lower than the 3 previous lows. And now what's going on? It's that it has now reacted into the demand level over here on 4 hours. So what do we expect to actually see today? Before we can actually think that NASDAQ is really bullish yet, and that they're ready to go, I think we need to start seeing like some lower time frame bullish structure formation happening, and then we can tell that, okay, I think NASDAQ is going to continue, like bullish and all. Because otherwise, on 4-hour, short-term 4-hour buyers right now, it's putting NASDAQ is respecting this level, meaning that maybe potentially NASDAQ could go on and create another low again, like a lower low, right? Because this is a lower low, this is like a pullback, then maybe we'll go back to create another lower low. That's currently what the market structure is doing on 4-hour. So, but we don't know yet. We want to see as well on the daily time frame. What is NASDAQ doing on daily? NASDAQ on daily is actually more straightforward than NASDAQ on 4-hour, because you can see that on daily we are actually just trading in a range, and since we're just trading in a range, okay, let me just make this better like this. Just a minute. Okay, all right, so I think this is good. So NASDAQ is just trading in a range on the 4-hour right now, and since it's just trading in a range on the 4-hour, we basically on 4 hour, we had a high, we have a pullback, and now NASDAQ is just testing that same range on the daily. So it's signifying to us that on the daily, NASDAQ is still very much bullish, right? So potentially this can happen. NASDAQ was there in the low, came here, came back like this, and then maybe now the new leg is gonna break out of the daily range and potentially create a new high, which is what we're gonna see. But let's go now on the 15 minutes. Then from the 15 minutes, we're gonna be marking out zones, and we'll also check the zones on the 1 hour as well. Okay, so what we'll do now, let's go back to 4 hour now and see. So where are we going to be trading from for this week? Which zones do we think that NASDAQ is going to respect based on the zones that NASDAQ has actually respected over the last week? So in order for us to be able to do that, we need to see the price clearly. So like this now, I can see that this demand that we draw is still intact. Price didn't take it out, so we're still going to leave this demand level as it is. Now, what had now happened is that NASDAQ has also created what I would call a resistance level, right? And there is a resistance level on the 4 hour right here, you know, and that's exactly where it is currently is right now, right? So since this is a resistance level, I'm just gonna, you know, make it a watch zone and call it minor resistance. I'm calling minor resistance because it didn't break any structure to the downside, but it's still a resistance level, and NASDAQ is currently slowing down there. So if NASDAQ is going to be bullish, wow, we need to see NASDAQ from where it is right now, break this resistance, pull back, maybe even pull back all the way down here, then do this, right? And why I say you can pull back all the way there is that there is like a formation over here, you know, like, you know, price was dancing around this area before it actually make a move to the upside, right? So that's why I put a minor zone as well over here. That, okay, what if price just go up, tap into this, and then boom, and then go? That's actually possible. So, and if especially this level get broken, this level that I mark to the stop here, if it gets broken, then it confirms to us that NASDAQ is going to continue bullish, especially on the 4 hour, and then we can see a pullback before the actual continuation. This always happens a lot of times where NASDAQ is going to break a level and you think, oh, it's ready to go ahead, to not even go lower before now going higher. That's actually very likely. So now I've marked a resistance level that I think is the level, and I think that's that. Let's see any zone on 1 hour. On the 1 hour, I would say that on the 1 hour, we're still looking the same. The resistance level is still the same as the one we have drawn out. So this is still the resistance level, even on the 1 hour itself. So it's in alignment with the zone that we actually draw out on the 4 hour, and I think that's actually a good thing. And so to scale down now to see even more zones better, I think we can actually now go to the 15 minutes. And when we are on 15 minutes, I always like to do one thing. And one of the things I like to do is I like to turn on the session break so that we can mark previous day high and previous day low. You can also mark the previous day high and lows actually on the daily candle as well. I just like doing it on 15 minutes. So now I'm going to mark the previous day, which obviously is last Friday, the highs and the lows, because these are areas of liquidity, right? So this level here is the previous day low, so at the bottom, meaning the lowest point that price was in the last trading day. Now this will be my previous day low. For visual sake, this is where I marked this, you can see. So that's the previous day low, and the previous day high is the highest point that price was on Friday. So that's gonna be it. The good thing right now is that market already blast through that level. I'm gonna call it previous day high. So price already took out the previous day high already. So previous day high, no more liquidity is above it because the liquidity is already taken. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is now turn on the Asian range. That, okay, since we have actually started ranging since the price opened today during the Asian session, what is the Asian range looking like and what is price doing in relation to the Asian range? Don't forget that NASDAQ or any market actually, if there is an Asian range, there has to be a breakout either to the downside or to the upside of the Asian range. And what we're seeing right now is that this is the Asian range on NASDAQ. from here to here, right? And then what we have right now is that NASDAQ has actually broke out. Even though it's a small breakout yet, and it can just be that NASDAQ is just gonna test, this zone, or maybe pull back all the way and test this level. But if NASDAQ could test this particular level, I think it's actually a good one because it's in alignment with zones that we have, over here that we think that price could actually potentially return into. So in terms of 15-minute zone, I would say that we are going to keep our zones on the 1 hour, and we're not going to, because today is Monday, we're going to keep our zones on the 1 hour and not on 15 minutes. And the zones that we have on the 1 hour, they are already very good zones, so we're just going to leave them like that. So the zone that we already have from 4 hour, 4 hour and 1 hour, they're still going to be the zones that we're going to maintain because they are likely to be the highest probability zone. And so we are going to potentially be waiting for that. And so right now, before we can take any trade on NASDAQ, we really need to wait and see more confirmations. Especially right now, where price is right now, it doesn't make sense to buy in the middle of nowhere. So we need to see a pullback, or we need to see a break and pullback. So if we can see a pullback into from where price currently is right now into like this level, then we begin to see reaction, then we can take the trade. Or if that doesn't happen, we need to see NASDAQ to, first of all, break this minor resistance. Then when we get a pullback, no matter how long the pullback is, then we can take a buy continuation actually after that. And I hope that actually happens, and that will be what we're going to do. I think that's actually it in terms of the outlook and zone. So we only have one level we are looking at, or demand level we're looking at, and that's actually the zone on the 4 hour. So if price should break the resistance or come back into the demand that we have assigned over here, then we're going to be looking to take a trade. Now let's look at the macros that are happening this week. So we have news happening, but today, Monday, there's no news at all. Everything's empty. So I'm just going to go to Tuesday. Tuesday, which is tomorrow, we do have the retail data coming out. So it's expected to maybe have some impact on the. So let's see the description. For example, the change in total value of sales at the retail level. Okay, so, and this makes sense that the total value of sales that retailers make, in the United States. Okay, so let's see. February as well, we have the farm coming out, the unemployment rates coming out. Don't forget that the NFP was cancelled last week Friday due to the government reinstation thing that just happened. So most likely it will happen very soon. Let's even see. So on Thursday of this week, we also have unemployment claims. On Friday, we have CPI. So I think there are many news this week, at least one every day, 2:30. So we just need to trade carefully around that period so that we are going to know, be aware of the news before we actually enter the trade. Okay, I think that's going to be it for London session. And if there are any questions, as always, put it in the comments or join the Telegram channel, and then we are going to take a look at it. All right, so we're going to be coming back in New York session for trading NASDAQ live. So make sure to join us, and we would see each other again. Thank you and good morning. Make sure you enjoy your week as well, and bye-bye for now.